What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and hopefully you have watched yesterday's video. If not, do go check it out, and you'll find that price delivered just as we anticipated to the upside, quite aggressively too. You can see we ran out two levels of buy side liquidity, which I draw our attention to, and then we're slowly working our way up into this large fair value gap on dollar. So I was going to delineate a few things for us. I'm going to clear up the charts a little bit as well, just because. Oh, let me not get rid of those for now. And then, yeah, we can see that we're working up towards this fair value gap. This is the fair value gap which I've got my eyes set on. So it'd be nice to see if price can start thinking about entering into this. Now, it doesn't need to do it this week, but this is the draw on liquidity, as in this is where price is being pulled towards. So until proven otherwise, we remain bullish with the expectation that price is going to want to try and trade there. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if price pulled back before we started trading into that. And what I mean is that pull back into the breaker. So when I see this, I'm looking at the breaker, which is the last up close candle before the down move. So this candle here, and I'm very, very, very lightly anticipating that price may want to dip down and drop into it, which also happens to be the opening price of Sunday this week. So just some things taken into account. But let's drop down to the 4 hour for now. In fact, let's get that marked out. Oh my goodness. Let's get that marked out right now. Let's make that orange. And we're going to drop down to the 4 hour and take a closer look. And you can see our price pretty much just rallied for the entire day into the buy side liquidity target. So we've got just classic consolidation in the premium. So obviously with us making a high this early in the week, it's possible that we may have down close for the rest of the week. And that means that we need to have some kind of discount PD rate to draw to. And if you've been watching my videos this week, you'll know that I did originally expect price to, trade below this Sunday opening price, and we just haven't done it yet. So this is still a significant price level in terms of the fact that we've only traded above the Sunday opening price means that we can technically use it as a draw on liquidity later in the week, as in moving into Thursday and Friday. So if that is the case and price is going to come down here, it's going to do it quite aggressively and quite quickly, just because we have 2 days left to get down there. And if that is the case, it will do it on the back of, we'll see a break, we'll see a change in the sell delivery over here happen, as in maybe this low get taken out. We'll see resistance on where the buy side liquidity has been taken. So maybe this high, remember this is a high that's been taken out, guys. So once we get below that, price will use it as resistance, and then price will just run very quickly to the downside, and it'll start targeting that Sunday level. Now, again, I'm not really entirely sure whether it's going to be doing that this week. The only reason I'm anticipating it is because it's typical for price to do so. So that's why I want to draw our attention to it. This level, I said I wanted to see the low get created. You can see we pretty much just tapped into it today and then created that high. So very nice to see. But generally speaking, tomorrow it's kind of a waiting game now. So now that we've delivered to the upside, now we simply wait. If this low gets taken out, I do see kind of a breaker going on here. High, low, higher, high. And then we'd have to have an aggressive breaker, as in price would have to close quite aggressively below here for me to accept that. And then I'd want to go short on the back of it and start running for sell stops below these relative equal lows, and like I said, straight for that Sunday opening price, which is also a significant gap in price as well between here and here. So price may want to try and fill that. So it's going to be interesting to see how price delivers tomorrow, but it may be a matter of that, and that means that this week I would have traded both sides of the curve, which is very rare, as in I've traded to the upside, and if we can get on the downside of the curve as well, that's going to be very, very advanced trading, so to speak. Nonetheless, you can see how we created the low just on top of here, which is what I spoke about. High, and now the price is kind of falling off just before the fair value gap. And it does this intentionally to build stops up there that is probably going to run maybe later, maybe in a couple of weeks or something. But as far as I'm concerned, we still haven't dropped below that Sunday opening price. It's Thursday, and we've run out a lot of buy side liquidity and been traveling higher all day. So as far as I'm concerned, it's about time price starts getting into the discount. And the only way it's going to do that is if it starts moving pretty quickly. Now, we do have some high impact news tomorrow with the Michigan consumer sentiment, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects it. But like I said, if we're still in the premium by then, we might see some large expansion on the back of it that's going to run us down into that. So I hope that will make sense, guys. I'm going to get rid of this orange level now just to clear up the charts. And remember, this orange level is that breaker. So that's another reason why I'm anticipating price to come down here, because before it continues to rally, I'd like to think that it's going to reaccumulate stops in the discount, and then it's going to want to continue to expand. But I think it'll be a little bit ambitious if we just continue. But to be honest, like I said, it's until we've proven otherwise. Like, as far as I'm concerned, until this low gets taken out, we're still bullish. But once that low gets taken out, that's when I'm going to start rethinking things and need to start adjusting accordingly. So I hope that will make sense. Let's go into GBP USD, and you'll see similarly we've ran out our sell stops. We took it out very early in the morning, rallied quite a lot back into the range, and then attacked it again. So there's 3 levels that's been taken: 1, 2, and 3. So we've had like 3 levels of sell stops being taken over and over again. Again, more reason as to why we anticipate that price may want to pull back quite nicely into the Sunday opening price, which is over here. Is this it? This is the Sunday opening price above here. So let's get that marked out in red. So again, similarly, I'd expect that price is going to use this as a target for price, and would like to see price start to drag up towards it now that it's, you know, done its work in a discount, presumably. And that's typically how weeks tend to play out. So I'm paying close attention to this premium to see if price can get almost, you know, get out of the mud by the looks of things. Although I would say that pound's looking still very quite weak. Very quite weak. It's still looking quite weak. So I'm going to clear the charts completely right now. But just in terms of context, let's see what we've traded into on the daily first. There's not really much on the daily. So let's go to the 4 hour, and you'll see that there's a few gaps that prices, you know, respecting. So we have this fair value gap right here. Look at the volume respecting the midpoint. You can't make this stuff up. And then we've just about tapped into this fair value gap below here. But the fact that we've closed outside of it, you know, we're wicking inside of it right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some expansion. It might not be large. It might not be fast. It might not be quick. But just a few things to take into account that we might start trying to target levels like up here. So let's make premium PD arrays blue. We'll continue to make our discount PD arrays red. And we'll go down to the 1 hour. You see our prices playing around a little bit, but it'd be nice to see if we can rally up into that premium and then maybe start thinking about these highs tomorrow, but I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. So let's get buy side liquidity marked out up here, because that is potential. It's just that, you know, we need to see how much expansion we can get out of here, because looking at this kind of displacement, it's going to be quite high resistance getting up there. So I'm not anticipating too much. It's quite, like I said, it's kind of a middle ground right now. I don't want to say too much. We could very well just consolidate throughout Thursday, you know, so it's really it's a waiting game as per usual. But we do have a similar kind of price action here as to what we have in dollar in terms of a breaker, low, high, low, low, which would mean that the lowest I'd be happy for price to trade tomorrow and for the rest of the week would be here. So price can tap into this. Any lower than that and I'll be a little bit suspicious of price, because this is the last up close candle before the down move that we've had this movement outside of it from. So as far as I'm concerned, that should be able to hold price or encourage continued premium, you know, rallying into the buy side liquidity pools that we've, you know, engineered this week. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking at this drop in the premium. That would be nice, but this is assuming we have had a change in the state of delivery, and as far as I'm concerned, this change, quote unquote, hasn't really happened yet. We're still pretty bearish. Like, although we've got the price action here to create the low, high, low, low, this rally back into the range, all we're doing right now is just respecting a bearish order block. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, we're still pretty bearish, which means that on dollar we need to be considerate of that. As bearish as we're looking, it may be that, you know, it's just going to come to a certain level, maybe this other buy side liquidity that we've taken out, and then use it as support, and we'll just keep rallying, and that's completely possible. So not too sure, but other than that, yeah, today was a beautiful day. So let's finish up on Euro USD. You can see how aggressively now Euro was the perfect pair in terms of, I've predicted this perfectly. Look, created this level which I said price is going to create the high end. What happened? We create the high. Beautiful aggressive displacement to the downside. Actually, was that even today? I'm a bit confused now. Tuesday, no. Where is Wednesday? My bad. You can see we did get the continuation to the downside nonetheless, which is interesting. But again, very consolidated still, you know, and there's no reason for us to we shouldn't assume bullishness until proven otherwise. Like, it's not like we've had expansion to the upside. We're still hunting for sell stops. So really looking at the pairs and stuff, I'm not going to be hunting for longs. I think it'll be a bad idea if we just start hunting for longs. If anything, I'm going to start looking for more sell stops, such as this low below here as potential draw, and it'll just have to be a very weird and aggressively sell it offish week if that's going to be the way that price wants to continue to move, which is completely fine. But I'll be anticipating some kind of rebalance, as in, you know, we want to see some kind of premium. Maybe this low gets traded into in the premium, and then price will bounce off the back of that. So let's get that delineated just for reference sake. As to where we could, you know, find the high get made, and then we might roll over, fail again. So all this rallying within midweek, when we're bearish and we see rallying, we should always assume that it's going to fail. We should always assume failure swings. So any kind of rallying, that's when we need to be shorting into it. So this level which I've just marked out, which is what I'll say, and you might want to rebalance with this. If it does manage to get up there, we assume that it's going up there to come lower, and then, you know, we have support of things like that, such as this bearish order block, which will support that theory. So if we do the same with dollar as well, just because. Let's remove everything. Let's go to the daily. Let's look at where I'd expect to rebalance, which would be here. and then we need to look at where we're going, because remember, there's no point in us assuming bearishness until proven otherwise, and we're being clearly bullish. So let's just go with that, mindset, make this red. As we might want to rebalance with it, but I doubt we might even want to do that. But what I'm saying is that any kind of trade lower, and where could it be going, what kind of PDA is, we assume it's going there to move higher later. So let's just get these delineated, such as this fair value gap, and we might find that we're in that maybe early hours London, and then we get a reversal on the back of it, then it just rallies again. So yeah, I've literally argued both sides of the market very aggressively in this video, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's just a matter of, okay, how quickly are we reacting off these levels? And what time of the day are we doing it? And then if that's the case, then we should remain bullish until we have an aggressive, clear displacement to the downside. And we haven't had that. We've only been moving up with an opening gap as well. Look at this huge gap. So I shouldn't be worried about us trading into that for now, because at the moment, we're clearly hunting for buy stops. Even if we're pulling, oh no, it's pulling back so aggressively, yeah, we should still be thinking about buy side liquidity. And this will be our next level, which starts to push us in nicely to this massive fair value gap, which we have up here. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Quite a complicated video to get here, I'm not going to lie. But don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, join me over on Discord. All the links are in the description. Had a lot of you join the Discord recently, so welcome everybody. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. But interesting week for sure. I'm very, very much enjoying it, but I'm not. It's getting quite messy and quite difficult. Let me know how you guys are finding it in the comments below, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.